Hello, all you beautiful people. I am Psychotic Spoon. I thought I would throw together a quick speedrun tutorial for Axelay. Somebody had requested it like a year and a half ago, but so this is a little late. Thanks to COVID, I've got nothing but free time. So if you're not familiar with Axelay, it is a shoot 'em up that came out on the Super Nintendo in 1992. But it sets itself apart from other contemporary shoot 'em ups in a couple of different ways. First, there are both horizontal and vertical scrolling sections. And second, there are no power-ups in the game. Instead, what happens is at the beginning of every level, you get to choose your weapon loadout. You've got 3 different weapon slots. You've got a front gun, you've got a side gun, and you've got a missile slot. And you can switch between these weapons on the fly in the middle of a level by pressing L and R. But the neat thing is, these weapons also double as health. So if you take a hit from a bullet or a laser or some other kind of minor weapon, it only disables your currently selected weapon, leaving you with your other 2. Another hit, you're left with 1. Another hit, you're left with nothing at all. The other neat thing is that each of your weapons has an alternate firing mode. So your 2 lasers can also fire these tiny little missiles, and your missile slot, you can fire this little pea shooter kind of laser thing. One thing that's weird about this game is probably the most important thing about speedrunning this is using the macro missiles. The macro missiles are a missile that you start out with at the beginning of the game, and a direct hit from a macro missile deals 18 damage. But there's a trick. After the macro missile hits, it will explode for about a second, and those explosions only deal 1 damage per frame. But they do turn on the enemy's invincibility frames. So the problem is, if you go in and you just start hammering an enemy with tons of those macro missiles, your first macro missile, or the next macro missile, will likely hit while those explosions are going on from the previous one. So you won't get that 18 damage because that hit will be happening while the enemy has their invincibility frames on. So what you want to do is time your macro missiles so that the next one hits right after the previous one stops exploding. So that's a little tricky. I'll show you how this works out in game. Some other interesting things. Let's get this thing started and running here. I'm going to be playing on hard difficulty just because that's what I do normally. There's not a lot of differences in strategy between hard and any other difficulty level. The main difference is there are a lot more bullets and things firing at you on hard, so lag reduction becomes a bigger problem, as does just surviving through this. But most of these strategies should apply to anything. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that you're not using a prototype ROM. There's a lot of betas, a lot of prototypes floating around on the internet. But if you're on the main screen and you press left and right on a prototype, down in the corner there will be a level select. So just make sure that's not there. After that, I'm going to go to Setup. I like to customize my shooting here and turn up the brightness. You also want to turn up this trigger speed so that you shoot a lot faster. Finally, you want to make sure that you're playing on the North American ROM. The reason for that is, in the Japanese ROM, you can't go as far down on the screen as you can on the American ROM. And that makes it just, certain strategies just aren't possible on the Japanese version. It's a lot more difficult too, because you've got more room to kind of dodge things in the American one. I think that's it. Let's get started. I'm going to be doing this video using an emulator, and I have a Lua script that I wrote that displays various information about bosses. So it'll display the boss's health, it'll display how long it's taking you to fight the boss, it'll display if the boss currently has invincibility frames and how long those invincibility frames are lasting. It'll also allow me to switch weapons on the fly, add additional lives. I think you can change the difficulty. It will also display a yellow square around my ship anytime there's a lag frame, and it'll display a blue square around my ship anytime I get a good hit from a macro missile. Now, obviously, this is just for my own testing and when I'm like running the game and routing it and things like that. You can't actually use this while you are actually running the game, but I just wanted to throw that out there just so I can display some additional information. Cool. Let's get started. So traditionally, the timing for this game starts when you select the first weapon. When you're selecting weapons, I like to use both 2 buttons at once so that you can actually press this faster. So like I'm just going to mash both of these. And between levels, I'm going to hit that as quickly as I can. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to this round laser. When you hold down the shoot button with a round laser, it swings around to the front of your ship like this. And when you let go, it swings around to the back. So by tapping it, you can kind of control where it's aiming, which is really useful later on in this game. This first part's pretty easy. I like to switch to macro missiles when this next guy pops up, just so I can take him out quickly. Now coming through here, there are these weird islands that have got these big laser eye things that shoot at you. And you can kill those guys, but when you do, it creates some lag, so I'm just going to ignore them. But you don't want to sit all the way at the bottom of the screen, because occasionally these extra ships that fly by will be able to hit you if you sit way at the bottom. You can just kind of sit through here. I like to kill this last guy just for fun. And I can hang out down at the bottom. So in the Japanese version of the game, you can actually only go about this far down to the bottom, whereas on the North American version, you can go to here. So this is the first mini-boss that you're going to be facing in the game. The fastest way to kill this guy is by using those macro missiles. It's kind of difficult and it's not very consistent, because occasionally he'll fire this big spray of missiles that all home in on you, and you really have to get out of your way to dodge, and it makes it more difficult. So the alternative is just to use a straight laser and just hit them straight on. Using the macro missiles in a good run will only save like 1 or 2 seconds, so it's not that big of a deal if you just want to use the straight laser, which is more consistent. But this guy has a couple different cycles. If you don't kill him quickly enough, he'll go back beneath the clouds and then come back out. So all you want to do is try to make sure that you kill him before he goes back beneath the clouds. The other strange thing about this guy is that he's got very weird hitbox. He's got this cockpit that's sitting out in front of his ship, and you can actually sit right on top of that and you won't take a hit. It's only when you get up into his engines and things up above. And that's important because he fires these 3 lasers that kind of look like French fries. And you can actually sit right on top of the guns that fire the left and the right French fries. And it won't hit you because the lasers will spawn underneath your ship, just because of his funky hitboxes. So I'm going to start here trying to do, demonstrating how to use the macro missiles. Alright, let's do the macro missile strategy. So I'm going to try to stay right in front of his cockpit, maybe a little bit to the right, because that will usually make him go to the right initially. Just like this, and he'll kind of follow you, which is great. I'm just going to try to stay right in front of him. And you can see, like, right there, I managed to stay above his French fries, so he actually missed me. But let's do the straight laser strategy next. Alright, so here's the straight laser strategy. So this one you can just stay down at the bottom of the screen. This is a lot easier because you don't have to worry about that spray of missiles coming at you. So you just kind of want to stay right in front of him, lead the target a little bit, so if he's left or right, you can stay right on it. So there you go. That's usually like a second or 2 slower, but it's not that big of a deal. Alright, so Miniboss is down. I'm going to switch to the round Vulcan. I'm going to try to kill all these enemies as they come out. After this, there are these canyons, and what you want to do is go through the parts that have this purple netting. They're staggered differently, so like, if you don't see one in the first canyon, then go to the left or the right. And then after you see one, you're going to move to the left or the right here. And when you do, you want to switch to the straight laser here. Try to immediately take out these walker guys that are floating on this web stuff, because if you don't, they'll fire a big spray of lasers at you. For that, I'm going to switch back to the round Vulcan, try to take these guys out. This upcoming part is a mess. I'm going to try to take out this turret, kill this guy, come up here, take out this other turret, try to shoot those mines before they have a chance to shoot me down. If you do that right, it should reduce a lot of lag. Other than that, you've got to slide through this canyon. Now, at this point, you should try to keep your macro missiles. You don't want to use them throughout this level because they're really important for this upcoming boss. Oh. Well, some guy just came up and shot me from behind. Well, that's very rude. I am unimpressed. Alright, I'm going to save here. Alright, so this upcoming boss is Arachnotron. And just like I said in the intro, we're going to be using the macro missiles as much as we can. Now this guy's weak spot is his eye, and it's weird because he's got his eye is like here, and then he's got these two little things on the side that kind of stick down. And the hitbox is actually only the two things on the side, so you can actually get right up in front of that eye and shoot a lot, which we're going to try to do here. So let's do this. Now he always initially moves to the left, so I'm going to try to get right up in front of him here and then try to time this so I can hit him quickly. Now if he see that lightning bolt that's coming down to his eye, when that happens you know he's going to shoot that web out, which means you have to get out of the way. So ideally you'd like to have him shoot out those little spider buddies. But that should be it. So with that, we're going to move on to the next level. At this point, we unlock an additional weapon. That is the... I don't even remember what missiles they are. But those are pretty much useless. So what you're going to do is, just as soon as you start exiting out of that level, just start hammering both of these buttons at once so that you select the same weapons instantly. Which if I go back over here. Just go like that. So at the start of this level, I just like to switch to the round Vulcan, take care of these little guys. You want to be careful with these guys that appear on screen, because on hard difficulty, as soon as you kill them, they'll fire a bullet in your direction. So these guys in particular. Okay. This part's tricky. There are these turrets on the top and bottom of the screen that are going to shoot at you. And so what I like to do is slowly tap the forward button intermittently. So that way, because they only shoot directly at where your ship is. So if you just hold forward, you always dodge them, but you'll typically run out of screen real estate before you can dodge them all. So I just tap forward, tap, 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 and then you should be able to take care of all those guys. This is just fun. There are these mobile turrets that can walk up and down. They can also jump. So I like to play jump rope with this guy down here by going jump, 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 jump. Now you don't want to go through this gap right away because there's this guy that appears right there. And he's got a tendency to show up right when you're ready to shoot him. Okay, so this upcoming section can be pretty rough, especially if you don't have the round Vulcan. I'm going to demonstrate two ways that you can get through here, both with the round Vulcan and without. But the first thing that you want to do is switch to a weapon that shoots straight, whether it's a pea shooter from some other weapon, like your missile weapon, or if it's the straight laser. And then you're going to hang out on that overhang that's coming down from the ceiling on the right side of the screen, and you're going to keep shooting until you hear two explosions, and those are turrets from off-screen. Once those are done, I'm going to pull back into the left and just kind of hang out. There are these missile boats that are going to appear. I'm going to ignore them, let them fire their thing before I continue on. The first thing I'm going to show you is how to do this if you've got the round Vulcan. So I'm going to switch to a straight laser. I'm going to listen for one explosion, two explosions. And I'm just going to hang out down there until those missile boats get out of my way. Perfect. But let's say that you didn't have the round Vulcan. What do you do? So again, you're going to wait one explosion, two explosions, and then you're just going to stay down here. Let those missile boats do their thing. Once they're gone, move up, try to take out this rest of this garbage, and then you should be good. Okay, in this next upcoming section, there are a lot of octopus enemies, and you want to kill them as quickly as you can because they can create a lot of lag. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to kill one octopus enemy, and then I'm just going to stay up on the top of the screen, because there are a lot of these enemies that jump in from the right side of the screen, fire a laser, and leave. I'm just going to let them do their thing. Now, after that, there are going to be these mines that spread across the top of the screen and then drop on you. But I'm just going to be sitting at the top of the screen and keep shooting, and it should kill all those mines so I don't have to worry about them. when they'll point all the out to you. So I'm going to ignore those guys and come up here and just start fighting this octopus guy. After that, I'm going to hang out at the top of the screen, just keep shooting. And there, those explosions, those will go with mines. After that's done, I'm going to kill that centipede guy, and then I'm going to kill these dropships. After the dropship dies, they no longer have hitboxes, so you can just kind of do whatever you want. So I'm going to kill this octopus, or that guy, and I'm going to kill 3 of these missile boats. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to forget the 4th one, and then I'm going to go up here and just start trying to fight this octopus. Unfortunately, I took a hit there, that sucks. I want to kill this octopus before he starts creating a lot of lag. Great. I'm going to let those guys just get out of the way. Now through this part, if you do have the round Vulcan still, that's great. If not, you can use your tiny little P missiles to try to drop down and take down those turrets that are on the bottom. This part's pretty easy, not a lot to talk about here. I will show you... there's another set of mines that try to go up to the top of the screen and drop down on you. Other than that, we're going to just come towards the boss here. So I'm going to save. Alright, so this is the lead up to the boss. If you still have the round Vulcan, that's great, because you can use it to kill these turrets on the top and the bottom of the screen. Here you've got these supports that are holding up these gates, and you have to shoot the supports to try to start dropping down. Well, let's say that you don't have a round Vulcan. That's not a big concern. What you can do is take out the top half of the first support, and then start going for the second one, like that. And then you should be able to squeeze through. Okay, so up next is the second boss of this game, and there's a quick kill for this boss, but there's only about a 50% chance that it will work, so this is a pretty big reset point. This boss starts at 192 health, but if we can get him down to 128 health by the time he takes his first step forward, then there's a 50% chance he'll fire this big laser. When he fires that big laser, he'll either pan the laser up if we're above him, or start panning it down below if we're below him. And we're going to try to manipulate him to fire it up, so that way we can hit him under his chin. His weak spot is kind of this chin. And you can't shoot this boss straight in the face, because he's got a big plate that protects him. So, I'm going to line my ship up, try to do it perfectly, and then we're just going to try to start hitting him with macro missiles. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to my macro missiles. I'm going to cheat because I took a hit, just turn them back on. But you're going to try to line up the tip of your nose of your ship so it's just above this crease in the background. So let's see, he's going to fire his machine gun twice as he walks backwards, and he's invincible here. You don't want to be shooting at him right now because it'll create a bunch of lag frames, but you can see I'm just above that. After he fires his machine gun for a second time, you kind of get closer to him, right about here, and when he takes that step, that's when he's vulnerable, so you're going to start firing at him here. After he gets a step forward, you want to pull up so that he'll fire his laser upwards. And then you kind of just squeeze in there, right above his machine gun, and keep hitting him. And that's it. That's the quick kill. So hopefully that'll work. After that, we're going to go on to the next level. Okay. For the next level, we don't want to use the macro missiles. We want to use the, I think it's explosion bombs or something. So what you're going to do is you're going to hit the select button twice, and then you're going to press right once and hit it again. So I'm going to try to do that really quickly. As soon as it fades in, I'm going to do click, hit. So again, I use both fingers for that, so I can hit 2 buttons quickly, and then the right button. Start of this level can be tough because you've got these guys that kind of sweep in right there. You want to make sure that you kill them quickly. You can see I had a little bit of lag frames there, that's not great. Next up, there are these guys that fire these boogers that kind of home in on you, so just go down to the bottom right corner of the screen and wait. Other than that, you're going through this sewer section with these pipes. You kind of want to time your shot so you're not keeping too many bullets on screen at a time, or else you might get some lag here. Gonna go through here, hit this one. I'm gonna move to the tops because those guys like to extend. And those anti-aircraft things that are coming down from the bottom, they'll only hit you when they hit the plane that your ship is on. So like when they're underneath you, it's not a big problem. It's only when they enter the same plane as you. Coming up now, we've got some more of these little drone guys that come out. Now you do want to be moving left or right when these things come in, those missile boats. Because otherwise it's pretty easy to take a hit from them. But coming up here, this is the easiest mini-boss in the game. We're just going to switch to the straight laser, line up in between this guy, and then just like move down to the bottom of the screen like that. Super easy. That guy, if you're to the left of him, he'll move to the left. If you're to the right of him, he'll move to the right. But if you're exactly in the middle, he just can't move at all. So just line yourself up at the top of the screen, right in between his two big lasers, and then hit him straight on. These guys can create some lag while they're shooting, so just don't stand right in front of them and then get out of their way. Here, I just went to the top of the screen. There are these little bat things that kind of swoop out from underneath. You gotta take them out. After this, there are these squid enemies that kind of phase into existence. What you want to do is switch to your explosion bombs and try to kill the middle ones. The first wave will appear on the right of the screen, and the second will appear on the left. You want to kill the ones that are in the middle of the play field, so that way you're not spamming tons of bullets at you. So I'm going to do that right here. Switch to the missiles here. I'm trying to hit these two guys, and then hit these two guys. And you see, because they're firing lots of little bullets at you from the background. For that, I'm going to switch to the straight laser. Try to go through here. This part, there's always going to be some lag. What you want to do is let this guy shoot once. Go kill him. Kill the second guy. Be careful, because he's going to try to shoot you again. I was not careful. But that's that. So coming up next, we've got the boss. Alright, so the third boss is Regenertron. And he's got 3 different forms. For the first form, I'm just going to use the round Vulcan and try to take out his little lasers. So let's do that. Great. For a second form, he's going to turn into this giant witch's hat. So I'm going to use my explosion bombs. And I'm both going to be using my front laser too. Like normally you wouldn't use your front laser just because the macro missiles are so powerful. What you want to do is kill these little things that are coming off, firing tons of bullets at you. If you're lucky, you can get this guy in 2 cycles. So that was a little close. After that, he's angry at you. He's going to turn into a giant red angry lobster, which is very upset. And for this one, I'm going to use the round Vulcan again. He'll keep firing 2 lasers every time. So what you want to do is just avoid those lasers and keep trying to hit him square out of the face using that round Vulcan. After that, that's it. So we're going to go to the next level. Alright, for the next level, we're going to use our 3 default weapons, so just start mashing the select buttons so you can select your weapons as soon as they appear. Easy peasy. Alright, so I'm going to start off with round Vulcan here. Now there are going to be these enemies, and as soon as you kill them, they fire a bullet at you, so you want to be a little cognizant of that, try to avoid these guys. You want to shoot these little sphincters that are at the top and bottom of the screen. There's also these thorn pods that you can see like right above me here. You want to shoot those as soon as you can. If you take too long, they'll explode into a bunch of heat-seeking missiles. At the bottom of the screen, you can see this little pod here. If you get close to it, this centipede will reach out and try to grab you. You can kill those pods, but when you do, it releases these amoebas, so you don't want to do that. I'm going to move forward here. So I'm going to switch to the round Vulcan, try to take out these seed pods at the top of the screen. And then I'm going to hang out right above this overhang and kill these little pixies as soon as they appear. So that way I can avoid their bullets and get out of the way later. So again, there's those pixies, and as soon as you shoot them, they start firing bullets at you. So the idea is you want to kill them all when you're at one place, and then dodge out of the way later. And you can see that thorn pod just exploded and launched a bunch of missiles at me. Now if you can wait until that thorn pod's off screen when it explodes, then all those missiles will despawn. I'm going to try to get up here and kill this guy ASAP. So when these pixies appear, you want to kill them. They come in pairs, and you want to kill them as soon as they appear, because it makes their bullets a lot easier to dodge when their two bullets are on top of each other. But after those guys are done, I'm just going to go to the top of the screen here, the ceiling, and I'm going to let these spiders fly by, because when you shoot them, they fire a bullet at you. But they don't bother me, I don't bother them, I don't care. After that, I'm going to go down underwater here. I think it's easier underwater. So this underwater part, I'm going to switch to the straight laser. You've got these proboscises that are extending on higher difficulty levels. They've got these fish, and if you shoot them a little bit, they'll turn around and fire a bullet at you. So you either want to ignore them completely, or take them out as soon as you can. Super. And here we've got these jellyfish, and when you kill them, they explode into a big spray of bullets. For each difficulty level you go up, there's twice as many bullets as those guys spawn. So I try to avoid killing them most of the time on hard. Here we've got another bunch of these zebrafish guys. Here we've got these shrimp buddies. They just want to show you their favorite rock, so when they get close to you, they drop their rock. They're really not any threat at all. They're pretty easy. You can shoot their rocks if you want. Okay, this next upcoming part, there are these ice blocks that you have to shoot in order to make a path. But hidden inside of here are these amoebas. I mentioned them earlier from those pods. If you shoot those pods where the centipede comes out of, it'll release those amoebas. And these amoebas are annoying because they'll attach to your ship and slowly drag your ship down. So we want to avoid those amoebas as much as possible. But there's a trick to the amoebas. Because they're dragging your ship down, if they ever touch the background, they will kill themselves. So if your ship is here and they attach to the bottom, they'll start dragging the whole thing down. And if that amoeba touches the ground, they'll die, leaving your ship intact and no longer dragging you down. So if it looks like one's going to attach to you, you should try to let it attach to the bottom. So for this part, I'm going to switch to a straight gun. Whether it's a straight laser or your pea shooter, it doesn't matter. And you want to start shooting the third block from the bottom there. Stay on the left side of the screen and try to avoid all these guys. I'm going to let this amoeba attach to me, and you can see I'm just dragging. And there, he detached himself. I'll do the same with this guy. Maybe. Oh. Well, I just barely got through there. But you can see how if I just let the amoeba attach to the bottom, then it's totally fine. This boss is waiting for us at the top of the screen. And when he first comes out, there will be an earthquake and a bunch of rocks will start falling from the screen. And you want to start at the top of the screen and then move down as those rocks come, because that'll give you a little bit more time to dodge the rocks and makes it a lot easier. You can shoot those rocks down using the round Vulcan, but it creates some additional lag. After he comes down and lands in the water, he's got this red proboscis that kind of extends. So that's his damage point, but he'll only extend it if you shoot the green part. So I'm going to start off using the round Vulcan and try to hit both of those at once. This guy also has this purple lightning beam that when it hits your ship, it'll just make you switch weapons uncontrollably, but it won't damage you. So what I'm going to try to do is stay on the far left side of the screen and hit him with the round Vulcan. And then when he starts charging up that purple gun, I'm going to just move a little bit out of the way, because he takes a little bit of time to aim at you. So he'll move at where you were a second ago. And then I'm going to switch to the macro missiles and just try to keep hammering him. So once that earthquake starts, just want to kind of move down so you get a little bit of extra time to dodge. And then I'm going to switch to the round Vulcan, and then I'm going to try to hit him so that this red part extends. When you hit him, you want to kind of use the macro missiles if you can, just so you get that good damage. So I took one death there, but that was pretty fast. So that should be good enough. Alright, next level. It's going to be the same. We're going to use all the defaults, so I'm just going to hit select buttons as fast as I can. These big worms, you can't actually hit them, but they create a lot of lag if you shoot while they're on screen. So just kind of move up to where they're jumping out of, stay underneath them. For that, switch to the round Vulcan and start firing at all this stuff. These flames will only touch you when they reach their apex, so you can kind of ignore them. But other than that, I try to just stay in between them as they're coming out. Because it's really easy to forget about them and then accidentally take a hit from them later on. Other than that, there's these small bosses. Go down to the bottom of the screen. There will be 2 of them. So avoid the first one. And then you want to quickly destroy one of them. Forget about the other one. You just want to kill these little guys that appear behind him. Alright. And this next part, there are these golden dragons that appear, and you can kill them, but when you do, it creates a lot of lag. So what we're going to try to do instead is juke them so that they fly off screen and despawn. What we're going to do is we're going to align the tip of our ship to the left of this metal girder, and then we're going to go all the way down to the bottom of the ship. When the 2 dragons appear, we're going to wait for that one of them to get close to our ship, and then we're going to move all the way to the right side of the screen, and both of them should fly straight off. So let's try that. So I'm going to line up just to the left of that girder. Then I'm going to juke. Perfect. I'm going to immediately switch to the round Vulcan, start trying to take these guys out. You can kill this dragon, that's fine. I haven't found a way to really juke that second pair of dragons. One dragon on the screen is fine. That's this, there's going to be more of these worms. So again, just stay kind of up here where they come out of. And then you can let those guys fly off screen. Kill this dragon. And here we've got the same thing, where there's going to be another pair of dragons that we want to juke and get them off screen. But there's a trick this time. There are those little satellite things that explode into 8 little comets. And so we want to kill those guys as much as we can before those dragons appear, because otherwise there's going to be too much going on to try to take care of everything. So I'm going to use the round Vulcan to try to kill those things as soon as they spawn. And as soon as I kill them, I'm going to switch to a different weapon. That way all of my my round Vulcans will disappear off screen, and I'm not still shooting and creating additional lag. So let's do that. So I'm going to switch to this. Try to kill those 3 guys. I'm going to do it again here. And then I'm going to switch off, juke, immediately switch back. And see, by switching away from the round Vulcan, I don't have to wait for it to like swing back around behind me. So it just keeps shooting normally. Here you just want to kind of kill everything, try to reduce these mud balls, try to reduce lag. Alright. For here, you're going to just go down to the left corner, bottom left corner of the screen, let these fireballs jump out of the way. With that, we're going to face the boss from the front cover of the game, Wayler, which is very exciting. So this boss, we're going to be using the same strategy with the macro missiles. Keep trying to hit them, let them explode, and then try to time the next macro missile so that hits right after those explosions stop. And we're going to keep doing that over and over. This guy's going to be kind of waving his arms around and kind of blocking our shots though, so we kind of want to wait until he exposes his heart, moves his hand out of the way. The one weird thing about this boss is he'll occasionally fire a big chain of flames out of his mouth, and then after about a second or 2, he'll whip it either left or right. Now that's convenient because after he shoots it out, you've got a good 2 seconds where you can keep hammering him. Now after 2 seconds, you want to switch to another weapon, so that if you do take a hit, you don't lose your macro missiles. The odd thing is, sometimes if you're waiting down at the bottom, he'll whip it and it'll completely miss you, and it won't matter. So, I don't know, it's kind of weird. The other thing is, this guy also likes to splash around in the lava, and he's kicking up lava balls and shooting things. If it looks like you're going to take a hit, just switch to another weapon. And try to switch to one so that if you do take that hit, it'll automatically switch back to the macro missiles. Okay, so I'm going to switch to the micro missiles. This guy's not vulnerable until he's all the way out of the lava, so we can wait a little bit here. So he's just about there. Alright, so he's going to do this whip. So I'm going to switch when it comes out initially, and I took a hit. That's fine, because I can immediately just switch back, because I've got my invincibility frames. I did lose my macro missiles, which is bad, but we should be able to get them there. Alright, so that was an okay fight. For the last level, you don't want to just immediately start mashing the choose weapons button, because we want to use this latest weapon that we got, the wind laser. The wind laser, when it fires off kind of behind you, and then it comes around in front of your ship. And the wind laser can pass through walls, which makes it really useful in this last level, because there's a lot of enemies that we want to be able to shoot from while we're hiding in cover and things. You can also manipulate where the wind laser shoots. If you're moving to the left as it fires, then it will spread out from your ship, kind of like this. If you're moving forward when it fires, it'll kind of move in and cross in front of you. So let's do that.
Arms installation is complete. Good luck.
Alright, so the start of this level is interesting. This level will wrap around vertically. So if I keep going up, I'll end up at the bottom of this ship. So anytime a missile or anything comes at you from the top, it's actually coming from the bottom of the ship and wrapping around. So what we want to do is kill all of the turrets and everything we can on this ship. And an easy way to do that is there are these two command posts at the top of each ship. And if we take both of them out, then everything else on the rest of the ship will explode. So I just killed those two. I'm going to try to kill this one. Now if we hadn't killed that previous one, then that ship that just appeared atop of us would be spewing out tons of little fighter jets, and we'd probably have taken a death. So again, you just use the macro missiles, try to take out these two little command posts. If you watch, everything in the back of the ship will explode. For that, we just got a couple fighters. And then there's one last red ship, so just keep moving down until that ship appears. I'm going to use the wind laser to start off killing these things. I'm going to try to kill these two command posts again. I don't think I'm going to be able to get it, so I'm going to just try to get out of the way from this crap. Another nice thing is if you do take out those command posts, there's a lot less lag you'll have to deal with. For this, we've got these guys kind of in this bowling pin formation. I just use the macro missiles to take them out. Okay. Coming up in this part, there's going to be this walker guy who's going to keep firing bullets at us. But he doesn't know how to lead the target, so we could just sit in one place and not move, and he'll miss you like 90% of the time. So I'm just going to kind of sit up here. I'm going to sit at the top of the screen so these kangaroo guys can't reach me. It's just a nice time to go relax, hang out a little bit. After that, I am going to try to juke him. He's got this spotlight. He'll only shoot at you when you're in the spotlight. And you kind of want to make him not fire a lot of bullets because there's a ton of lag in this upcoming part. But here you just want to use the wind laser, try to kill these turrets as soon as they appear. You can see there's a ton of lag when these gates are closing. Okay, this upcoming part is a mess. I'm going to switch to the wind laser, and I'm going to try to hide behind things and use the wind laser because it can shoot through walls and try to kill all these enemies before they can hurt me. And this is the time where you do want to be holding down both buttons at once so that you're shooting both your laser and your missiles. Normally you don't want to do that. It's because It activates enemies' invincibility frames. But you've got all these homing missile launchers, so I'm going to try to stay behind these posts and let the wind laser do its thing before I move up. And again, you can make it cross in front of you by pulling left as you fire. I'm going to just sit at the top of the screen and let these guys get out of my way. These guys will only shoot at you if you're directly in front of them. Okay, this next part is also a mess. It's going to start off, there's going to be a bunch of ships that are just flying between two nexus points, and I'm going to shoot them as much as I can. Following that are these enemies that start spewing just tons of little balls at you. And when you kill them, they launch an escape vehicle to the right that fires more bullets at you. I'm going to switch to the macro missiles, and I'm going to try to take out the first guy, and then I'm going to try to take out the bottom guy. And then after that, there are going to be two homing missile launchers on the bottom and top of the screen. I'm going to try to immediately take out the bottom one, and then try to go up and take the top one, and hope that everything goes well. This part's always a mess, so I would not be surprised if I get hit or take a death. Alright, let's go. So I'm going to go about here, I'm going to switch to this, wait for the first guy to take him out with macro missiles. Second guy, take out one missile launcher, try to avoid all this crap. So I took one hit there. After that, there's two more homing missile launchers. I'm going to try to use the wind laser to take them out. Okay, so that wasn't terrible. So now we've got the last mini-boss of the game. This guy starts with two crystal eyeballs above and below him that fire lasers at you. We're going to try to take them out quickly before the main body becomes vulnerable. We're going to do that by using a wind laser while it's still off screen and just listening to see if it's taking damage. And then as soon as we can, we're going to switch the macro missiles and go try to shoot them directly. After those are done, we're going to switch to the round Vulcan, and we're going to stand right in front of this guy and try to just shoot him straight on. There's a 12-second loop of this level, where if you don't kill this guy soon enough, then it'll start repeating that 12-second loop. So we want to kill this guy as soon as we can before we start looping that part. Alright, so let's do that. So I'm going to start off with the wind laser, and I'm going to stay about in the middle of the screen so I can just hear that the things are being damaged. And then when that's clear, I'm going to go up here. You do want to be careful when moving up there, because that hitbox for the wall is surprisingly large. Then you're just going to try to sit right in front of this guy. This is tough because the air pressure is trying to suck you outside. But I should have gotten it there. And you can tell you got it if you kill him before that star launcher at the top of the screen shows up. And then you can just tell by the music where it is. After this, you've got these kind of movie clapper guys that will try to clap you. If you have macro missiles, try to use that. Otherwise, use the wind laser. For this part, you can stay right at the top of the screen and avoid that upper laser. But other than that, it's just kind of a mess. Through here, again, you want to kill these guys. I'm going to deliberately take a death here to get my weapons back. We're at the last boss now, and I'm going to try to start shooting this guy off screen. I'm going to use my macro missiles, and I'm going to use the background to try to just line up where I'm shooting. So let's do that. So you just want to keep shooting, hopefully kill this guy quickly. Okay. This is probably the hardest part of the run. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for him to open his eye, at which point he's going to start launching tons of little things that are going to transform into stuff and kind of fire all at you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sit right in front of his eye with the macro missiles and keep firing at them. One of the first things that he shoots out is going to kind of turn into this missile lance thing that's going to shoot by you. I'm going to dodge that, and immediately after that I'm going to switch to a weapon I don't care about. And then I'm going to deliberately damage boost off of something, so I switch back to macro missiles and then sit right in front of him. Because there's an attack that he does that's almost impossible to dodge, but if you have invincibility frames, then you can just sit there right in front of him. Eventually he'll repeat this cycle, so I'm going to switch to another weapon I don't care about, damage boost off of something that won't kill me, it'll just disable my weapon, and then I'll switch back to macro missiles and go hit him again. And when it looks like I'm about to get hit a third time, I'm just going to fly into him, so that way I don't have to sit around and wait for my other weapons to respawn. So, alright, so let's do that. Okay, so I'm going to sit right in front of his eye. He's not vulnerable until completely opens, so I'm going to wait there. I'm going to dodge that lance, damage boost again, and then just fly into it rather than waiting. Damage boost once, damage boost again. Great. Okay, at this point this guy is going to scan our ship and start releasing clones of our ships. So the first thing we want to do is move close to him so that the scanner doesn't take long to reach us. Now these clones of our ships, they will mimic exactly what you do. If you move up, they'll move up. If you move down, they'll move down. And if you shoot either your gun or your missiles, then they'll fire the weak form of those things. So if you're stressed out, just stop shooting and those things won't shoot back at you. And take your time. Here I'm just going to keep using the macro missile and try to hit him. I'm only going to fire it when there's not somebody directly above me, because those guys, they fire the weak version of the missile, which drop down below you and then move over. So as long as there's nobody above me, I should be safe. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is going to move close to him. So he scans me right away. I'm just going to clear all this crap out. Once the scanner retracts, that's when clones will start coming out. You want to stop shooting. So I'm just going to only shoot when there's nobody directly above me. Perfect. Alright, we've got one last phase to fight through here. We're going to keep using the macro missiles to fight this guy. Now, this guy kind of rhythmically moves up and down. So what you want to do is try to stay slightly ahead of him. So that way your macro missiles will keep hitting him like as he moves into their path. The other thing is this guy will shoot a ton of tiny little bullets at you. If it looks like you're going to take a hit, switch to a weapon you don't care about. And as long as you slowly tap up or down, like you should be able to dodge most of them. Alright, so let's do this. Let's finish this out. Finish strong! Hooah! So he starts down at the bottom here, but I'm just going to slowly tap up and down. So like down, 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 up, 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 up. And as long as you're tapping it, you should be able to dodge most of those bullets. That's it. It's Axelay, man. You just finished it. Congratulations, dude. You should be proud of yourself, because this game is really hard. Especially on very hard. If you beat the game once on hard, it resets to very hard. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah.